It's a process which pays no attention to tactical suitability or to anything beyond a very literal form of worth. Prior to the 2006 World Cup, Owen Hargreaves publicly stressed his own value to Sven-Göran Eriksson and clearly viewed himself as his country's premier spoiling agent in midfield. Nobody agreed, at least not loudly enough to be heard. Hargreaves had, by that point, never played for an English club and had encountered thick distrust as a consequence. Even his selection in the 2006 squad was treated as a controversy. Within 6 months, though, he would be voted England's Player of the Year, essentially a reward for holding back the Portuguese tide in the quarter-final. Hargreaves was never a great of the game, but that 120 minutes turned him from being an oddity player who wasn't really English to someone who embodied the national spirit and around whom the team should be built. He played very well that night and perhaps never gave a more complete international performance, but there was something more to it. He was good in the right way, the British way, and in a manner which chimed so loudly with the collective mood that the debate was over forever. England needed Hargreaves. From curious, useless appendage to heart and soul in 120 minutes when his career was eventually lost to fragility, it became a low-grade national tragedy. The key detail in that transformation was not a win, pet goal, or a triumph, but that Hargreaves gave the right performance in the right setting. That's what has allowed it to endure and to shape how HES thought of to this day. Owen Hargreaves, in an England shirt at least, is what he was that day. For added complication, there are several active players in this country who remain locked outside the special territory. Not beneath greatness, as such, but precluded from universal approval. Tottenham's Harry Kane, for instance, has just won the Premier League's Golden Boot for a second year in a row, yet, beyond his own fan base, still faces a fixture-be-fixture battle for his reputation. Kane is a worthy example because, to some, he is never more than a single miss away from being revealed as a charlatan forward who has simply stumbled to the top of the goal-scoring charts. Romelu Lukaku is another, and he, more inconveniently, is on the verge of one of the most expensive transfers in the game's history. In each case, pure volume hasn't been enough to coax a consensus, and both are left waiting for the game, the moment, or the goal. How it will look, nobody knows. What context it needs to occur in, nobody can quite be sure. That illustrates how acceptance of talent can sometimes work in two different stages. Neither Kane nor Lukaku has anything left to prove to their respective supporters, but both remain on trial with the general population. The reputations are set in stone in one sense, but entirely fluid in another. Gareth Bale, who will likely start this evening's Champions League final from the bench, is further testament to that, albeit in the reverse. The Welsh forward is a star of the game everywhere in the world apart from in Madrid. He may have scored some wonderful goals in Spain, some important ones too, but he continues to search for the emblematic proof of his real worth. He looks like he belongs at the Santiago Bernabeu. HES played well enough to fit in, and yet, still, something isn't quite right. In Madrid, he remains in a purgatory between very good and excellent. It's the vagary which makes this such an intriguing area of the game. Some players, of course, never reach a point of mass acceptance, instead spending their careers as objects of a never-ending debate. For others though, these figurative landmarks become the cornerstones of the legacy. Roberto Carlos' swirling free-kick at Le Tournoi, Zlatan Ibrahimovic's Champions League double against Lyon in his second season at Ajax, or George Haggis' enthralling performances at the 1994 World Cup. It doesn't really matter whether they're truly representative, more that they're shown to have permanently altered a trajectory or to have become the sort of reflexive association which can never fade. Players search for that kind of permanence their entire careers, only without ever knowing what it is or even where it's hidden.